Hi everyone, my name is Duncan Guthrie. I'm the Managing Director here at 1Spatial and just wanted to take a few minutes to take you through what 1Spatial does as a business. I think in the industry, 1Spatial is known as a GIS vendor, but in reality, we're very different to other GIS vendors that are out there in the marketplace. As a business, we see ourselves much more as a solution provider. We work very closely with our customers to understand our customers' business needs, and then we look at the best technologies that we can implement to solve that particular business need. Now, in some instances, that'll be exclusively our own technology. More often than not, it'll be a combination of our own technology, some of our partners or third-party technologies, or indeed in some instances, we find the best technology to solve the solution is actually our partners' technology and not our own at all. So that's very much the philosophy of how we work as a business. In terms of ourselves and where we're located, we are a global operation, offices in the UK and Ireland, in France and Belgium, Australia and over in the US. And we have a number of technology partners that we work with, Esri, Oracle, Safe Software, the FME technology, and Latitude Geographics for the GeoCortex technology. And in terms of where we actually operate and where we focus, we have three key core markets. One is government organizations, the second is utilities, and the third is in transportation. So in terms of us as a business and the philosophy that we work on, as I say, we're very customer centric. So we like to focus in understanding the business problems of our customers first, and then work really in partnership with our customers to identify what the right solution is to solve that problem. We always find our customers understand their business and their data better than we do, but we very much understand our own technology and other technologies that are out there. And if you put those two knowledge sets together, you end up with the best solutions, and that's very much the philosophy of how we work. So just to give just an overview in terms of the technology components that 1Spatial has. On screen you can see these are the components that make up our technology set, and we very much follow what we see as a typical process or data workflow inside an organization. So in the first instance we have the planning phase, where often organizations will plan the work they're going to do in terms of data collection or data editing, and we have a component technology, OnePlan, that enables that planning to happen more effectively. Once that planning's been done, then organizations will often go to the process in terms of that data collection and indeed maintaining that data within inside their data holdings. And we have a series of components that enables that editing and indeed exchange of data between different environments. And then a very, very key component, OneValidate, which is all around ensuring that any changes or collection that is done to data actually conforms to a set of data quality standards. And then on the far side, we have, once that data has been maintained, actually publishing that data, so making it available for others to use. And a couple of technology components there in terms of OneGeneralize and OneIntegrate. And we're going to go through OneIntegrate in a little bit more detail later on. In addition to our own components, we also have two key third parties that we work with. One is Safe Software and the FME technology. We're the second largest FME reseller worldwide, and a lot of the solutions we implement will often have a combination of FME and our own technologies. In addition to that, we have the GeoCortex technology from Latitude Geographics, and a lot of solutions that we implement when actually making data accessible via a web environment utilizes GeoCortex. So as I was saying earlier, in terms of our philosophy, it's to use our own and our partners' technologies to provide the best solutions for our end users. Now, the one thing about 1Spatial is that we've always really been a company that innovates when we're looking at data and data management solutions, and that's because we have a very strong R&D mentality within the business. And indeed, about 10% of 1Spatial's turnover we reinvest into R&D. And things that we've got going at the moment, there are three sort of key innovation areas and R&D areas that we're looking at. The first one is mobile technology, and it's an area that there are solutions out there in the marketplace at the moment, but we have had quite a lot of feedback from our customers and the market as a whole in terms of areas of improvement that could be made with mobile technology, both in terms of the usability of solutions that are out there, but also in terms of the ability for data to be accurately and automatically validated in the field at point of collection, whether online or offline. And that's something we're doing a lot of work around in terms of looking at solutions in that area. The second one is around 3D, and there's a lot of improvements in terms of 3D data. In our opinion, 3D data is moving away from being something that always looks pretty and can be utilized more from a marketing purpose into something that can be really utilized in a geospatial context these days. And we're looking at a lot of the capabilities of how to handle and manage data in a 2D world, but now doing that in a 3D world. So that really isn't just about looking at creating 3D models from LiDAR data, for example, because there's lots of technologies out there that can do that really effectively. What really focusing on is how can you make the best use of that data. So for example, if 3D data is being created on a daily basis, how can we actually process that data so we can find the changes that have happened from one day to the next? And we've got one organization we're working pretty closely with at the moment to enable that to happen. So for us, it's more about how can you really utilize and interrogate and get value out of 3D data as opposed to creating 3D models in the first place. And the third area we're really looking at is the area of location master data management. And this is really around organizations that tend to have multiple data environments with different data types. It might be true spatial data, it might be asset-based information, it may be totally, non-spatial data as a whole. And it's the idea that each of those data environments probably have an interaction with each other. In fact, they often have data that is either reliant or duplicated in those particular areas. Now, originally, organizations would think they'd have one central source of the truth, but the reality is that's very difficult to achieve, mainly because there are a lot of other systems and processes that actually hang off those individual data silos. So to suddenly combine those into one is very difficult. What we're really looking at is having a smart solution that enables changes that when changes are made in one environment, that automatically it can be identified where changes in the other environments should actually be taken place. And what that means is that each of those silos of data are kept consistent and up to date with each other. So that's sort of three areas that we're really looking at in terms of innovation and our R&D expenditure at the moment. I think the final thing in terms of 1Spatial as a business, and really where we're adding value for organizations, is sort of summed up in the diagram on the screen. So we are very proficient in terms of that base layer in terms of data management. So in essence, what that means is being able to ensure that the data holdings that organizations are basing their decisions off are accurate and current. So we automate a lot of those complex data management processes that enable that to happen. So at any point in time, an organization's spatial data holdings are up to date and are of the best quality. Now, in addition to that, we're sort of moving up the data value chain. So with all this spatial data that exists that is actually now accurate and up to date, the really smart thing is how can we get new information from those existing data sets? How can we combine this information together and apply some smart processing that means we can generate new data and new information, which at the end of the day enables better decisions within inside that organization? It's really about trying to increase the economic value of spatial data within inside an organization. And through the rules engine that we have, we can do some very smart processing to infer new data given a series of existing spatial data holdings. And we've got a number of examples of those that we'll be able to talk through.